Hey guys, how are you doing today? Welcome back to Outback Steakhouse. No, wait, that's not right. Welcome back to the Joy of Resin. So, doing a slightly different kind of project today. Got some blue with glitter, orange with glitter, and clear with glitter. And we're doing stuff. So start off with, I have a little desiccated lizard that I just pulled out of the salts, and he is very skinny, very definitely mummified. So good job desiccating salts. We're gonna start with him with just some of this clear. Blub 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 blub. Okay, as always with organic material, even though he's been in desiccating salts, expecting some floating. So do a thin layer to start, and what am I doing with this guy? Okay, so we're gonna do some of this, and I think I'm gonna go with this moss instead of the green moss I usually use, and some polished stones. So I'm gonna start with the moss. Okay, so just need to whip this up a little bit and start putting it in along the border. Okay, that'll do. Right, now some of the stonework. Ooh, what was that noise? Hopefully I'm not about to be murdered. Would hate to be murdered before I finish this project. It would just be a waste of a lizard. Okay, now that's in there. Let's make sure everything is pushed out to the sides. And make sure the moss is nice and secure. Lizard, lizard, lizard. Sorry, couldn't help myself. Okay, and then we've got our shards of glass. We're just gonna throw that in as a border around the lizard. Okay, I think that'll do. Okay, just gonna add a little bit more around the border to really secure the moss. Not trying to bring the level of the resin up too high. And not trying to make the little lizard guy float away. So, okay, that should do for him. Move that off to the side. Next up, we have that little mermaid mini mold. And like I said yesterday, I'm pretty sure this is the type of mold where I'm supposed to put it on the bottom of another mold so that it leaves a void on the upper layer. So we're going to use some of our clear first. Get in there with a stick to release bubbles. Okay, there we go. And now we switch to the blue. So the mermaid will hopefully stay below the lip of the resin, stay secure against the flat surface of the mold. And then when I go to pull this, just like with that Tree of Life river table I made a little while ago, we will end up with a negative space where the mold used to be that I can then fill with a darker colored resin or a more solid colored resin, like, you know, some Sinker White or something like that, and it'll really like show off those colors. Hopefully, probably, the mica powder that's been painted onto the mold, well, almost definitely, will be secured to the inner surface of that void. Get out of there, you little shit bubbles. Okay. And then just a little bit more clear to raise the level a little bit. So much glitter. Okay, so for this one, we're going to do some aquarium gravel. Ooh, a little too much aquarium gravel. Where's the... There. All right, spread that around a little bit. And very confusing. All right, and then I've got some of this pearl shell. And then just a few actual seashells. Or more than a few. Jesus, those things want to come out. Okay. Alright, split that up, spread that around. Okay, and then for this one we are going to use a little bit of the natural moss to simulate seaweed. Okay, so moss is in. Now we just push it out to the sides, tamp it down a little bit so it's submerged or mostly submerged. We can finish that up on the next layer. Hopefully somewhere out there is a young lady who loves mermaids and will think this is glorious. Okay. There you go. All right. Let me move this to the curing cabinet real quick, as well as my lizard. All right, and then the last one we're gonna do is same theme, different theme. Again, this is one of those. This is a piece that I think is supposed to be submerged at the bottom of a piece. Our little spooky guy, and then we just pour the resin on top of him and let it secure to the base. This resin is getting warm, which is, as you all know, a bad sign. Okay, so, all right, let's go ahead and use up our clear while we're at it. Okay, now all the resin is done. Okay, so for this one, we're going to throw in some spooky. Well, that didn't go as planned. All right, some spooky pieces. Okay, and then a couple of snakes. Sweating to the oldies over here. Okay, all right. Now I've got just some. I am going for you know, a hellscape with this one. So dark and creepy thematic elements. Okay, and then okay, hell jewels attached. Skulls in place, snakes on a plane. Sorry. Again, couldn't help myself. I am going to add some of these little hell ducks at some point, devil ducks, but I think I'm going to wait until I pour the next layer because they will just disappear into the orange. So that's it for now. Time to move all this to the curing cabinet. Well, I mean, just that. Everything else is in the curing cabinet. And get cleaned up. All right. Thanks for joining me, guys. I will see you later.